Hey there YouTube, how are you guys doing? So, my last episode of the series about tin tobacco or pouch tobacco. First of all, before I get into that, I'm smoking my Philip Rivera pipe, and this was gifted to me by Phil, and it is one of the most prettiest pipes that I have in my collection. So, it's got a gigantuous bowl that can hold easily a good 2.5 hours, or at least two, definitely, of hours of smoking in this. So I like this pipe so much that I keep this in my pipe carry case, and whenever I go outside, which is extremely rare these days, but today I'm going to a pipe club meeting, so I will be taking my pouch. It's not exactly a meeting today, but it's a meeting for the executive committee members. So when I go there, I do want to smoke a pipe, and this baby is what I generally take with me. So I'm actually smoking this now before I go to the meeting, and I've locked and loaded some plum cake, but this is the plum cake that comes in the tin. And I also have the plum cake that comes in the pouch. Now, my initial thing, what I wanted to do was, I wanted to decant both into a jar, but after I tasted the two and after I saw the difference between the two, I'm actually not going to do that, because I think that this that comes in the tin form is way more superior than what came in the pouch form. So I do not want to mix the two and ruin the blend. So I'm going to actually keep the tin, as I think I can keep the tin for a couple of months at least before I can decant it into a jar. But the pouch tobacco I'm jarring immediately, as I don't want it to get any worse than it already is. So, like I was saying, this tobacco was made in 1957, and it's more of a burley blend. Sorry, it's more of a Virginia blend, but it's got burley, it's got something called this dark spice Cavendish tobacco, and it's got a touch of Latakia in it. They say the flavoring is rum and plum, but to be honest, I never got any. The tin note is unbelievably awesome, because whenever you smell that, you get that. I get a fruity smell. If I want to really I really couldn't put a dab on it, so I've been sniffing it almost every day now, and I think, what the hell is that flavor, that smell? And I've come to the conclusion that the fruity smell is more figgy for me, and it's got some sort of a alcohol perfume, you can say, but it's not rum. I mean, I've smelled rum, white rum and red rum and all that, but it's not rum. It's a type of alcohol smell. It's almost like a Scotch smell, but it's it's very hard for me to pinpoint what type of exact alcohol smell it is. It isn't rum though. So that's the finally I get to tell you the flavor. And I was telling it's like a navy flake smell, but that's the dissection of the smell. The tin had that smell, but the pouch was completely different. It had a more English, a mild English sort of a smell, very similar to Daniel early morning mixture, but this one smells absolutely nothing like this. So it got me thinking: is it the same tobacco? So when you light it up, the pouch tobacco was the first one I lit up, and when you taste the pouch tobacco, it was the starting point of the tobacco was, it was smooth, and then it goes into becoming extremely peppery, where I had to actually start sipping it. Now, I've read on reviews that plum cake is a sipping blend. It's not. It has a beautiful taste, but you got to sip it. and that's exactly what I found out from smoking the pouch version of that. But the tin was completely different. I mean, it it was smooth at the start, but it got a slight tartness, a sort of a tangy flavor. About 5 minutes into the bowl, but in about 10 minutes, or yeah, about 10 minutes, it dissipated, and it became such a lovely smoking experience. And you can actually get the some of that flavor of the tin smell, that fruitiness coming through in the smoke as well. But in the pouch, that was completely not there. I could taste a dash of the Latakia in the pouch, but in the tin form, I never tasted the Latakia at all. It was like it was more younger, and even the color difference between the two tobaccos. And like I showed you in the first video, the pouch was darker than the tin form, and I assume that with age. So I guess that's the normal process of tobacco. But the base of both blends of the tin form as well as the pouch form was more or less identical, but there was a lot of background notes that were completely different in both tobaccos. So my conclusion about tins and pouches: tins are extremely good at keeping tobacco moist, as soon as you opened up the tin form was moister than the pouch. So definitely tins keep your tobacco more moist than pouches. And also, it's extremely good if you are storing tobacco long term, that you go for a tin form rather than a pouch. Now, this is a mistake that I did. And the reason why I did this mistake was all the tins that I get after about 3 to 5 months, the tins start rusting. And one of my earlier videos, I would have shown you my tins start rusting from the inside to out. And I had a bunch of tins, at least a good 40 tins that were rusting. And believe me or not, I had to throw away some Samuel Gavitt, um, Virginia Flake. I had to throw some, what was that? Really, really good tobacco that I really didn't want to throw, which is extremely, extremely rare. It's not coming to my head right now, but sadly I had to throw an entire tin because the rust was on the outside and it was pretty bad. When I opened the tin, it was completely rusty. So there onwards, I just keep telling everyone to send me tobacco in pouch form. And here I have a huge box, just neck full with, you know, pouch tobacco. It's just absolutely neck full with, pouch tobacco. And now I'm thinking, what a mistake that was, because, pouches just don't last that long. And already my glass jars, I have about 40 of them in a cupboard, which you can see over here, is just neck full with tobacco. So I'm actually going to go out one of these days and purchase another 15 or 20 glass jars just to store the tobacco that I'm having in pouches, because for me a red light went off saying, don't store your tobacco in pouches. And that was the biggest mistake that I made, asking people to send pouches thinking that, it doesn't rust so you can keep it long. But man, that was such a bloody mistake. But another thing that was good about tins is, it locks in the taste as well as the flavor, because even though I haven't aged, like certain tobaccos like Virginia blends do age beautiful. You can age them for up to about 100 years, people say. But when it comes to you know case flavored blends, it doesn't keep well more than a couple of years. So that's another thing that I learned from this experience is I better start smoking up my case tobacco pretty fast rather than my Virginia. So I'm just going to chuck my Virginias to a side, like the flake tobaccos, and start on the aromatic blends that I have. As you know, it's not going to last another couple of years, as the flavor, the taste is just going to come down. Another thing about, let's just leave tins aside now and talk about the pouches. Pouches are great, especially, I mean, if you're planning on trying on a blend immediately and you just don't want the whole tin. So, if you are trying a tobacco that's, just going to purchase it from, your local tobacconist, or purchase it online, and as soon as it comes, open it up, by all means go for a pouch. And if you're like me, that I just jar all my tobacco. I never keep it in tins because I have a rust issue, as I'm just so close by to the ocean. So if you guys have a problem like that, then you might as well purchase the pouch and decant it. But through this experiment, I have learned not to ever tell anyone to send me. I mean, I can't buy imported tobacco being in Sri Lanka. So in the future, if anyone's sending me tobacco, the golden rule is do not send me a pouch, because it's just not the same as to a tin. But apart from that, tins are a little bit hard to carry. Just imagine taking this, to a pipe club meeting. Where are you going to put it? I can't even just chuck it into my, pouch, my carry case. But inside, I'm just going to keep my pipe aside. But inside, pouches are just so easy to carry. I mean, just look at that. I'm actually taking my pouch, and I want some of the people there at my pipe club to taste this and give me some of their thoughts. So yes, pouches are ideal for carrying tobacco. I mean, the smaller tins like the flakes are also easily carried, but the 100-gram tins are a bit difficult, carted around. So if you want, your tobacco to be portable, or if you are going somewhere, pouches are great because it's good for short-term tobacco storage. And yeah, that's pretty much it about tins and pouches. I just learned a ton of stuff. As like I said, I'm never going to be purchasing pouch tobacco hereafter. And anyone who's sending me tobacco, I'm going to tell them, please don't send pouches, send me tins. And as soon as the tin comes, I think I can keep it for about 2-3 months in a tin. But as soon as that, I'm just going to decant it into a jar where I can keep it longer. So yeah, that is my conclusion about tins and pouches. So I hope this is helpful, guys. I've just finished work and I'm just running for the pipe club meeting, so I'm still just professional. And I hope you enjoyed the series. And I'm going to say adios amigos, guys. Ciao.